Assalamu alaikum. Welcome again. Today we will be discussing about the polysaccharide. Previously we have discussed about the carbohydrate monosaccharides and the oligosaccharide. Among the oligosaccharide we have talked about disaccharide, trisaccharide, tetrapenta, and up to 9 or 10th glucose units. And if we look at that one, especially uh, trisaccharide. Raffinose is a trisaccharide that is composed of the glucose molecule, and the glucose, the glucose sucrose unit and plus one lactose unit, that is the raffinose. Uh, Sucrose is composed of one glucose and one fructose with the linkage of 1 2, and one lactose that is attached. Now there are three units: 1 2 3. So this is the raffinose. It's a trisaccharide. When we talked about the tetrasaccharide, the example is a stachyose. Again, with the sucrose, two lactose are attached with it. So it will be having four units, and that will be called as the stachyose. And when we talked about more than 10 units, these are called as the polysaccharides. So polysaccharides, when complete hydrolyzed, that will provide you 10 10 units of the monosaccharides. So the number of monosaccharide unit in polysaccharide, which is larger than 10 units, larger than 10 units. And actually these are the longer chain having higher degree of polymerization that may range to 100, 3000, or even more than the 3000s. So sometimes the polysaccharide that are composed of the similar units, uh, for example, the starch that composed of all the glucose units, these kind of the things, that is called as the homoglycans. And sometime the polysaccharide are composed of more than one units, that is called as the heteroglycans. Uh, so these are the two terms. The starches, these are the homoglycans, and glycogen again, that is the homoglycans. And there are some polysaccharides that will be called as the heteroglycans. So heteroglycans means that is composed of different kind of the monosaccharide unit. For example, that may consist of galactose and mannose in a series of chain more than 10 units. So these are called as the heteroglycans. We will start with the homoglycans molecules, especially, that are more important. Uh, and so we will be starting with the starch. This is a homopolysaccharide consisting of the glucose units. So starches actually that consist of uh, two kind of starches are available in the nature. One is actually uh, called as the amylose, and other is called as the amylopectin. So what are the difference between these two? Basically, amylose that is composed of all the glucose unit that are arranged in a straight chain structure. But the amylopectin, that is composed of the branch chain structure. We will see the structure as well. So about the amylose, this is a part of starch that have the two fractions actually, amylose and the amylopectin. Amylose is composed of all the glucose units, that are linked together by 1,4 glycosidic linkage, and there is no branching, and it is the soluble part in water. And amylose, the molecular weight that may range between 50,000 to 200,000. In case of the amylopectin, it's a branch chain structure. Amylose, it's a straight chain structure. Amylopectin, it's a branch chain structure, and that part is insoluble in water. So what is the difference? It's a straight chain structure. Amylopectin, it's a branch chain structure, and this is soluble in water. Amylopectin is not soluble in water. And another difference is the molecular weight, that is comparatively higher molecular weight. So branches that arises for 1,6 glycosidic linkage, alpha 1,6 glycosidic linkage. We will see the structure of this one. So look at this one. This is the structure of the amylose. So you can see it's a straight chain. All of these are the glucose molecule having the glycosidic linkage of alpha 1,4. You can see here, this is the alpha 1,4 linkage. This is the alpha 1,4 linkage. But the amylopectin, the backbone is the straight chain structure, but you can see that at some point the branching arises. This is the branch. When this branch arises, this is 1,6 linkage. 1,6 first carbon, and this is a 6 carbon. So branching arises at 1,6 linkage, alpha 1,6 linkage, and all of these glucose units that are alpha 1,4 type of the linkage. And again, the branching molecule that can further elongate and with the alpha 1,4 type of the linkage. So starches have two fractions. One is the amylose, one is the amylopectin. What is different? It's a straight chain molecule, it's a branch chain molecule, and the branching that arises 1,6 linkage, all the other glucose unit that are arranged with alpha 1,4 type of the linkage. So some other homopolysaccharide, glycogen, that is also a homopolysaccharide, means all composed of all the glucose units. Starches is also composed of all the glucose units. Difference is that starches exist in plant source, but the glycogen exists in animal and the human source. Where it stores? In humans, that stores in the liver or in the muscles. So these are the two areas in which this glycogen that is present. The structure is the same as the starch structure. So glycogen, that's animal starch, because that is also available in the animals. This is the structure. You can see uh, all of these glucose units that are arranged in a straight chain structure, and where the branch arises that have the 1,6. So that has a similar structure as the amylopectin. But there is small difference from the amylopectin that is exist in the uh, plant sources. Uh, Here, the branching is not too much frequent, contain both alpha 1,4 links and alpha 1,6. Alpha 1,6 is the point where the branch arises. So what is the difference? Here, the branching exists on average of 8 to 12 glucose after on average of 8 to 12 glucose unit. And that can be hydrolyzed either by alpha and the beta amylase in the body. Another homopolysaccharide that is called as the dextrins. That is actually produced from the starches. Starches are too much high molecular weight. So when partial hydrolysis take place, there is production of the dextrins. So these are various types: amylodextrin, erythrodextrin, acrodextrin. And these are comparatively smaller molecular weight as compared to the starches, and have several functions that can be used as mucilages that can be used in the infant formulas. And some part is indigestible if the longer molecular weight is there, so that is indigestible in nature and can be act as a soluble fiber that can be used in various food industry, various food processing, as a thickening agent, as a gluing agent, binding agent. Another thing, this was the dextrins, and that is dextrins. It's again a type of the polysaccharides having the dietary fiber in nature. What is that dietary fiber? Dietary fiber means that is not digested in your body by the human enzymes. So basically dextrin is produced by, it's a microbial product basically, that is produced by leuconostoc mesenterides. And what kind of consists of again the glucose unit, and these glucose units are arranged with alpha 1,4 linkage, alpha 1,6 linkage where the branching arises, that is the alpha 1,6 linkage, and another branching arises that is alpha 1,3 linkage that have a molecular weight, again a very high molecular, 40,000, 70,000, 75. So there is lot more glucose units are there. So again, that is several industrial applications, dextrins. All of these are the polysaccharide. Another polysaccharide, that is the cellulose. Again, that is made up of the glucose, but what is the difference? All of the things that we have studied previously, that was the alpha D glucose molecule, but cellulose, when we talk about the cellulose, what you have to remember, that is composed of beta D glucose units. That is again the polymer, more than 10 glucose units, but that is composed of beta D glucose unit instead of alpha D glucose unit. So again, that is yielding the glucose, but beta D glucose unit, and that is abundantly available uh, in the nature, plant source especially. What is the difference between the starches and cellulose? Starches, due to the alpha D glucose nature, that provide blue coloration when reacted with the iodine, but the cellulose that doesn't provide uh, coloration with iodine. So it's a test. Cellulose that will not provide the color. Again, it's a tasteless, odorless, and insoluble in water, but soluble in some type of the organic solvents. We can see here beta 1,4 linkage in case of the cellulose, and human doesn't have some of the enzyme that can digest the beta 1,4 type of the linkage. So cellulose that is not digestible in the human beings, but animal that can digest the cellulose, but not human being, because human being can digest the starches. Why? That has the alpha 1,4 type of the linkage. The enzymes for alpha 1,4 type of the linkage digestion, that is available in the human being, but for enzymes that can digest the beta 1,4 linkage, that is not available in human being. So that have various application, microcrystalline cellulose that is used as a binder, methyl cellulose that have much very great use in the food industry, suspending agent, bulking laxative agent, oxidized cellulose that has the hemostatic effect, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose that have a lot more functions in the food industries. That is commonly called CMC, and its salt is called sodium CMC, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose. Then cellulose acetate, packaging material that can be used in the packaging material, cellulose acetate phthalate, indirect coating, nitrocellulose that is not for the food purpose, that is an explosive material. Another is the chitin. Again, it's a polysaccharide, and that is a polymer of the N-acetyl glucosamine. Glucosamine is a derivative product from the nitrogen substances. Aniline, this is very important because that is a kind of the polysaccharide arises from the fructose that have the beta 1,2 type of the linkage. It's the linear type of the molecule, and that give a yellow coloration with the iodine. Naturally, that is available in onion, garlic, artichokes, and so many. Again, it has a dietary fiber type of the nature that is not digested, and there are two kinds of things available in the market. One is the annuline that is strictly polysaccharide, but smaller chained molecule that is called as the oligofructose that is also available and have some industrial usage. So these are the usage for the inulin, glomerular filtration, soluble dietary fiber, appetite suppressant, so low glycemic index sweeteners, fat cream substitute. So there are so many uses of the inulin. Then the agar, agar is a lactose polymer. Again, it's a polymer, and that is naturally obtained from the seaweeds. And what is the property of this? That get readily dissolved in hot water, and when it is cooled, that makes a gelatinous mass. Gelatinous mass. Um, Practically, we use in the lab for the culture media that is used as the laxative, that is used as the substitute for the vegetarian gelatin. Most of the ready-made soups that are available in the markets that is used in these kind of the soups and jellies, ice cream, desserts. That is also used in the clarifying agent in the brewing industry. So that was all the uh, homopolysaccharides. Now we will be talking about some of the important heteropolysaccharides. What does it mean? Heteropolysaccharide means composed of two type of the monosaccharide units. Just for example, glucose and the mannose in a series of steps. So heteropolysaccharide, there are so many. For example, D-galactosamine. Uh, uh, then in some products for the used for the Weight Watchers. For example, the Kellogg company that is used for glucomannan and the galactomannans type of the product in their breakfast cereal. So that suppress the hunger, and that is used for Weight Watchers to reduce the weight. Uh, there are some other. So this is the amylose structure, amylopectin having the branchings. These are the some of the starches can be best identified by the microscopic technique, and different kind of the starches that have different kind of the structure. We can see arrowroot starch. It's a complex, bigger type of the starch. Uh, this have just like the crystal type of a buckwheat starch, crystal type of the starch, potato starch, again the circular type of the starch. This equipment, viscograph or the mylograph, that is used to determine the properties of the starches. This is a complete viscograph actually that is used to determine the viscosity, that is based on the viscosity, and this viscosity is determined against the time at different temperature. So there are different type of the modified starches. There are different ways: acid modified starch, acid hydrolyzed starch, enzyme modified starch, pre-gelatinized starch, especially this pre-gelatinized starch that is being used for making the 2 minutes noodle that is prepared in 2 minutes, the instant type of the noodles. Chemical modified starch, stabilized starch, cross-linked starch. There are so many type of the starches that is being used in the industry. Same is the case with the cellulose, macrocrystalline cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose, the hydroxypropyl cellulose, methyl cellulose that is being used in the industry. Today we have talked about the polysaccharide units, and now almost the carbohydrate section that has been completed. So we will close our lecture today here, and we will talk about some other topics in the next lecture. Thank you very much.